Right.
This
First things first, before we start anything, I got to bring it back to some OG
oh
drinks. This is
the
basically
Space Kitty.
what built
Yeah, that's true.
BFS.
That is true. That is true.
So
First tea, yeah, it wasn't first tea at all.
unofficially, this episode is sponsored by Rohrbach Space Kitty.
Oh, that's a great.
Cheers.
Hey, thank you for being here.
My
All right.
pleasure. My pleasure.
So we're here with Nick Parlet, plumbing skater.
Plumbing Skater with an 8.
You were one of the people that came and helped when we built the park.
Yeah.
You used to come with your kid, and life changes and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're one of the people that showed up. As I mentioned in the last podcast, that like when I started the skate park, you learned there's all these people that were my friends. That I thought were my friends, and then they didn't come and they didn't help and they didn't care. And there's people I never met just showed up, and now we're like lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And you were one of those people. So I mean, you're a lifelong skater, and obviously you're a plumber as the Instagram thing.
Yeah.
And a father.
Yeah.
So that's my little intro. So I want you to tell me, like, who you are relative to, Rochester skateboarding scene and BFS and who are you?
Well, I officially just turned 39 today.
Oh, it's your birthday?
It's my birthday.
I'll drink to that, brother.
Yeah. Cheers to that one. Feeling old today. But yeah, so I've been skateboarding since I was 10, and I've been in Rochester obviously my whole life, and seen a lot of skate parks come and go. Saw why they failed, and it definitely made me very passionate to want to keep a skate park, around or help out with keeping a skate park around for my kids to show up when they got older enough to be able to skate. So that's why, number one, that's why I wanted to volunteer when you first started building. I was really hyped about that. Plus, I lived right on the corner, so that was also a perk. I literally lived 5 minutes away.
North Winton, right.
Which was great. Now I'm in, out in Webster, but yeah, I've been skating for 10 plus years, and got into doing plumbing, and got into doing film and editing with my plumbing stuff, and turned it into another little career, I guess you could say. But I still got my my roots of skateboarding, and always want to help out with any of my skating buddies. When they need a job, anybody need a job, hit me up. Tidy Pipes, always looking for guys. I got Donofrio always working with me once in a while. Yeah, he's a hard worker. But yeah, that's me. I mean, skating, plumbing. Don't skate as much. Definitely a lot of working. That's about it. And a lot of fathering too. Which was one of the cool things about owning your own business. Now I get to spend a lot more time with my family. So
that is one of the nice parts, is you get to make your own schedule.
Yeah,
it's so funny. Everyone says they like, I want to work for myself.
Yeah.
Like, I always just say, how often? I ask them, how often do you listen to yourself?
Yeah.
Right. Like you say, oh, I'm gonna go on a diet, or I'm gonna start going to the gym, or like you never listen to yourself.
Right.
And if you're gonna be your own boss, it's the one thing you have to do is you have to listen to that to yourself.
Yeah.
Most people can't do that. They're much better off. They think, oh, it's just fun. I'll just make a lot of money and I'll get to pick my own hours or whatever.
Yeah. Not easy, but does take a little bit of balls to do it.
Yeah.
But once you do it, it's definitely worth it.
Jaden's dad really helped me start my business, and the one way he explained it to me is like, you jumped off the cliff, so you're forever going to have that bond with someone else who jumped off that cliff.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people who are like middle managers who are like try to talk to you like I've been the manager here for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like, but
it's not the same.
You didn't jump off the cliff.
No.
Like, you don't have any skin in the game. No. It's not exactly the same.
No.
It's totally different. And even like, I mean, you have appointments you have to be to. I have a sign on a door somewhere that says I'm going to be here. And, and the lease is the big thing,
Right.
That's really tough.
Right. Yeah.
At least you pick your jobs, I guess, and you could schedule yourself busier or not busier.
They pick me. I should say it that way.
Yeah.
There's jobs I don't want to go to, but
I
still got to do it.
For
sure. Got to do it to bring the check in. But yeah, I love it. I'll tell you what. I came from working for a plumbing company and worked a lot of hours, and it was just too much working and not enough pay and too much time away from the family. So definitely being on my own is a real nice benefit.
I'm going to tell you a funny story
Let's hear it.
about plumbing, kind of.
All right.
This guy called me, and he's one of those customers that asks you a question, and then as you begin to answer it, he like cuts you off because he'll ask a not simple question,
Yeah.
and you go, okay, well, you start to explain it, and he's like, no, but, and it was just really frustrating, and he's like, well, yeah, I want to support you. I own a small business. I want to support small business. I was like, all right, well, let me finish explaining to you the situation, and then he told me he's like, I'm a plumber, and he told me he's the only independent, I own and manage and run my own business plumber in the county.
Of Monroe County.
That's what he told me. And I was like,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know at least like
There's a few.
3 others.
Yeah, there's a few. There's definitely a few. That's
crazy.
interesting.
Hopefully that random guy isn't listening to this.
Yeah, well-
He's pissed off at me. But
There's a lot of characters in Rochester, as you know.
so let's dive into your skate career. You've been skating for 10 years?
No, since I was 10.
Since you were 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think you said 10
Oh,
years.
maybe I
You may have
messed
misspoke.
up.
That happens. So that's a long time.
Yeah, long time.
So what year were you 10? So
I
you're
don't know.
you're a year older than me.
Yeah,
So that'd been like, I mean, that's mid 90s.
making me do math right now. Yeah, about.
Mid 90s, okay.
Yeah.
What was the first skate park you ever went to?
Oh, I do know this one. Oh, don't know the name of it. It was in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
It was. Oh crap! I don't know if one of my buddies, Cheddar Plumbing Co. He might be listening to this. He's from Pittsburgh. He might remember this one. Somewhere in Pittsburgh, because I had family.
You
down
were
in
traveling?
Pittsburgh. Yeah, we were
Okay.
traveling. I was young. I probably was around, I don't know, 12.
At this
11.
point, were you already skating and there wasn't
Yeah,
local
but I
skate
was
parks?
not good. Like,
Okay.
we'll back it up to. I started skating because I was living down off of Park Ave. I was actually on Berkeley Street. My mother rented an apartment down there, and my uncle bought me a skateboard, and I just started jumping on it because where I was living, as it is probably still today, it was a party area. Not a lot of kids lived around there, so I didn't have a lot of friends. So I got into skating, just like rolling around the sidewalk.
Okay.
I didn't know how to do kickflips. I didn't
Yeah.
even know what it was. I didn't even know what a kickflip was because I never actually saw videos, never saw pictures. I just had a skateboard. So, I just would roll around. And, but I do remember my mother taking me to a place in Pittsburgh, to an indoor skate park there. And, yeah, that was really fun. I know there may have been another one up in Canada, too, if I remember correctly. There was a cement one. It was super old, a lot of graffiti on it. I don't know if you know this one. It's right across the border, if I remember correctly,
Wow.
up in Niagara Falls.
the
actually.
Niagara Outdoor Park.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's still
super
around.
old with that long handrail down the center.
Yeah,
Do you
like-
remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
I
That's
believe I went to that too, also. So I
Okay.
don't know. It's gonna be between a toss up between those two. If I can
What was your first local skate park you remember?
Webster?
Webster?
I'm
Outdoor.
a Webster skate rat.
Okay, what was your first local indoor park you remember going to?
It's got to be Spinners.
Spinners.
Spinners was
The inside spinners or the outside spinners?
inside.
Okay.
I was like, when they first started, we used to go out there literally religiously every Friday. My mother would take us out there. Jason, you remember
Yeah.
Jason? He taught. I used to rollerblade
Yeah,
too.
okay.
So all my buddies from Webster actually rollerbladed. So I just got into doing the rollerblading because I didn't really have a skate buddy. So I started rollerblading a lot. Jason taught me a lot, and actually convinced me to talk my parents into sending me to Woodward. And I went to Woodward,
Wow.
and while I was there, I think I kind of regained the passion for skateboarding.
So what
and
year was this? Like this would be late 90s
Ooh,
or early 2000s?
I don't even know. I wish I remember this. My brain's so fried
Yeah.
from that far back. But it
When you
was-
went to Woodward, were you skateboarding or
I
rollerblading or
went
both?
for rollerblading.
Okay.
Brought my skateboard. Ended up vibing way more with the skateboarders.
Okay.
And all my free time was skateboarding. But then during the classes, I was just rollerblading.
Okay.
Learned to do a backflip there on rollerblades. I
That's
was
cool.
pretty excited about that. But yeah, and then I just got into skating from there. I brought it back to Rochester. Everyone was rollerblading. I met people like Brennan Burns. I had my buddies like Brian Bouchard and Brian Lawler. That they got into skateboarding as well, and then I just stuck with that. I kind of
Is that the Brian from Joey's? Or the different Brian?
Joey's. I don't know which one. Joey's.
The bar Joey's?
No, I don't think he hangs out there. No, Brian.
I mean, like that guy. Isn't that guy that owns Joey's? His name.
Oh, you're
Brian?
thinking about Brian Mueller.
Different Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. There's just a bunch of Brians.
Yeah,
that skate.
there's a
All
lot
right,
of
too many
Brians.
Brians.
It's a common
Okay.
But yeah, so I just kind of stuck with the guys that were skating all through junior high, and then I just kept doing it. But we got the Webster skate park, and I got back then when they brought it into town, I got sponsored by Solo Ramps. I don't know if you remember that
No.
company. That's what the ramp company is.
So you remember when the Webster Park got put
built?
in?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you know roughly what year that was?
Dude, I don't remember dates.
And that was
horrible with
I mean, that had to
Years
be the
ago.
first one in the area, right?
Yeah,
'Cause the only
well-
other thing it would have been Brockport.
Yeah, Solo. Some guy came. I just remember some dude coming, and he had like just a bank ramp and like a box, and like he sold those Solo ramps, and he like did like a mock up skate I don't know, skate
Mhm.
ramp tryout, and he basically sold the rec center like on buying enough ramps to make a skate park out of it. So they made that park, and it was awesome back then, man. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
went there after school like every day. Me and people like Jared Jones, Jerry Colbert was back then. Man, there's so many people. Tyree, Outerbridge, all of my Shazbot crew, we used to go there every single day and skate Webster. And it was a great place till, got neglected once the rec center moved.
Oh, okay.
And they moved. I don't
That's
know if you know
before the
that.
ramp sunk into the
Yeah,
asphalt.
exactly. Once they sunk in, it was like,
Yeah, that place
this
is.
place sucks.
In my summer camps, when I teach the kids, I teach this thing called the PEACE program.
Yeah,
PEACE.
yeah,
It's protection, equipment, awareness, cooperation, and
That's-
emergency management.
that's awareness.
And awareness is like, you go, you walk
Yeah.
around, you make sure it's good. And that's always my example. I'm like, you ever been to Webster Skate Park?
Yeah.
And there's always one or two kids. I'm like, you know how the ramps are sunken in? Like,
yeah,
if you don't go and look before you go, you're gonna, especially if you're on a
Bite it.
skateboard, you're gonna
Yeah,
you're
man.
gonna eat it.
yeah, man, for sure. That place is scary. I've definitely gotten pretty hurt there. We filmed some awesome clips there. That's also on YouTube.
You know
can
that
check
scooter
out my-
kid Bard from around here, Bradley? He's like really, really good.
Did he have like kind of long hair, like I
Kind of
don't know,
shaggy.
yeah, I think I know who you're
That might
talking
be
about.
Fox.
He was
though.
launching over those railings,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
he?
He jumped that big bank at Webster over the railing
Yeah.
to flat.
Well, hold on now.
Ridiculous.
That is ridiculous, but there was another guy, Dylan. I forgot the kid's name. He melon grabbed that, like probably
On a
3 or
skateboard.
4 years after that park was over. Yeah, melon grabbed it, and I know a lot of the OG skaters from Webster definitely know all about that. They saw it. I remember. I don't know if it's on film. It's got to be on film.
It's impressive to get the speed for that.
Dude,
I
you're
guess
telling me.
it's just as impressive to get the speed on a scooter.
He came from the back corner, just pump,
running,
boom,
running,
launched it.
launching. Wow.
Yeah, that was wild, dude, for sure. Evan used to launch off the quarter pipe. You know that the mini quarter pipe on the smaller section.
Yeah.
He would always freaking launch that like it was like a fly box, but he's just going to flat. Like I don't know, it was nuts, man.
Which Evan?
Evan Dow,
Okay.
the freaking Rochester master of skating.
Yeah.
But,
So you've been around for a long time. Let me ask you what I asked Zippy.
yeah.
Who's the best, talent, the best rider you've seen in Rochester? Bike, scooter, skateboard, whatever. Like who's that one guy that you're like, no, that's the guy. Like that's the
Well, obviously Dan Collar takes
Yeah.
biking for sure. He's awesome, by the way.
none taken.
But for me, it's a toss up. I've actually had this conversation
Yeah.
a couple times with other local skaters.
Yeah.
And for me, number one, Donofrio. I just personally like Donofrio
Yeah.
because he's consistent as hell. There's
Yeah.
no other skateboarder in Rochester that is consistent as he is.
I mean, when you watch him skate, he is like a click above
above everybody.
local. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
There's a lot of
yeah.
other people that can probably do a little more technical tricks than he can.
Yeah.
But after how many tries,
Yeah.
he has like kickflip, board slide, kickflip, back lip on lock on anything too. You just take him to any skate park and
Yeah.
he's freaking putting it
He's
down
very,
the rail.
very good.
So consistency, Donofrio, I always just love watching him. To me, watching him is like almost like watching Nija, I guess, because you know how consistent he is, and just it still blows my mind everything he does. I'd say second would be Goupel, Johnny Goupel.
Okay, yeah.
That kid is ridiculous, man. He's like, it's like he should have been in that Cheese and Crackers movie with Haslam and what's his name, De Wong.
I was looking up videos on YouTube because I'm trying to figure out, piece together the whole Rochester skate park history. I want to make this
Yeah.
like chart of which one opened and
Yeah.
which one closes, so we can see what overlap there were. So I figured, if I go on YouTube and
Yeah.
look up these parks, I could look at upload dates and see if
Yeah.
I could figure it out. And there was like one of the videos, like one of the our last session at
Yeah.
Extremes 2.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any names in it, but I'm pretty sure it was that guy.
Goupel.
That kid and his buddies.
And then the third one I got to point out,
Yeah.
is my boy. Rest in peace, JMO.
Ugh.
And tough one to talk about. Miss that kid to death. We're always gonna miss him. Which I don't know if you know this, but he has a gap here.
Yeah.
The Jordan gap we called it.
Oh yeah. Which one's that?
If you come across, let me see. If you're heading towards the back of the park that way, heading towards like the street section, you used to have like a box just below the quarter pipe, that big freaking quarter pipe you had over there on the end of the bowl. He freaking kickflipped that thing and landed on it and snapped his tail. I got video of that. It's on my Instagram. Snapped the tail. I felt bad because I was egging him on. I was like, Jordan, do it. And he did it. Broke the tail. I felt so bad. I was like, just pick out a board, dude. I'll go buy you a board. So I bought him another board, and he tried it one more time, and freaking he ate shit pretty bad. But I don't know. We called it the Jordan gap. I've seen other people try it, but nobody's actually landed it.
So didn't someone today post a little JMO memorial edit? I saw it.
If they did, I missed it. I honestly have not been.
I mean, there's a bunch of pictures and video, old stuff.
Yeah.
Like him as like a little kid, really.
Oh,
he was so
ridiculous.
good for so long.
Ridiculous.
So,
Jordan was one of those people, and he's always going to be one of my favorite people to watch skate. Like he was so entertaining. Not just in his style was very unique. No one else skated like that kid. No one even compared to him. But his energy was like next level.
Yes.
Like, yeah. It's hard to talk about him. I'm gonna refrain so I don't start crying on him on camera here. But
he had the best vibes. Like a lot of skaters, like no offense to skateboarders, a lot of skaters they have like let's say mediocre attitudes. He had such positivity to him.
Yeah, for sure, man. I know. So he's a tough one. Where it sucks that we lost him, and gonna have problems with that for a while. I know that, but.
His style was so unique too. In the vein of all the conversations I've been having, Rochester's history with skate parks is so deep. And I'm going back and looking at these parks. I mean, they're all big.
Yeah.
Like people come here and they're like, "Oh, your ramps are so big."
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at these old parks. I'm like, mine's small compared to them.
For sure.
And it makes sense when you see how Jordan skated, Jordan Nagel, the Dows.
Yeah.
Like when you see their style and you're like. Those dudes rode transition and big ramps. Like when Jordan would come here, the way he rode the ramps was just completely different than all
and fast
modern normal skaters.
Yeah.
They want flat bars, curb cuts, little mani pads. They really don't want much transition or ramps. They kind of want really basic stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just man, he did like the skaters I'm talking about. They did bike stuff. Really, is what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He really did. Just same thing with that other Jordan you were talking, Nagel.
He's crazy.
That dude was nuts. He would just like out of nowhere just like throw like the craziest thing. He takes some hard ass falls and get right back up.
He's like a caveman.
He's a good one to watch for sure.
He used to come here so much. He doesn't come so often.
I haven't seen him in a while. I think he's been working a lot. Probably, man. That's what happens to all of us, man. We find a freaking job and figure out that we got to start working.
Yeah,
pay rent.
When he first started coming here, I don't know like what his deal was. He was like. He'd like stare right through you, and like he didn't have a smartphone, and I was like, "What's this guy's deal?"
Yeah,
like,
then he just fucking tear
and then
the
he
park.
shredded, and then like after a while, like I don't know if he was going through something on a in his own head or something on his personal, but eventually he'd come in and how you doing?
Yeah.
And when he used to come in, he just he wouldn't make eye contact, wouldn't say anything. He'd just shred. He would be soaked in sweat,
dude. Yeah,
and then he'd leave. It was like. And he would get it so hard.
He had a good workout there for sure, man. Hell yeah.
He would
Those are the
ride
best
the
sessions.
step up like a biker would, you know, just like lofty.
You could hear it was like so loud when he came down that ramp too. Like whoa, you hear him coming up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good skater too for sure.
So speaking of the old parks, you said you rode spinners back in the day.
Yeah.
So you remember Extremes 1 as well?
I skated them all. Yeah.
Did you like inlining or skating that park more?
Skateboarding, 100%.
Really?
Yeah, Element Team came to the first one, and Colt Cannon was there, and that was. I remember Colt Cannon doing this kickflip nose manual on the big box in the center of the skate park. It was like, I don't know, it was wild. I remember watching that because he was nasty at the nose manuals. He was there. Who else was at that demo? There was another one. Anyways. I remember going to that demo, and it just, like, hyped me up to try and learn, like, somewhat close to the stuff that
Yeah.
they were doing there.
Back when teams would do that.
Yeah. During that time, though, I do remember like not being able to get there as much. I don't know if I don't know. I don't think I lost interest, but I wasn't going there as much as I was going to
Yeah.
spinners back in the day.
Yeah.
But it was always cool to go there, with my buddies when we went, and we'd skate the mini area just like you got here. Learned a ton of stuff there, and I've been telling you this for a while. Eurogap, the Eurogap that they had there was like top notch. Never skated another
At
Eurogap.
Extremes 1.
Yeah, because I think it was more directed towards bikers, maybe. Because it was obviously they had the wood floors connected to the ramps, so you don't have that metal plate. But it had a nice gradual launch, and you had a ton of speed.
Was it all radius, or did it radius to flat bank?
Radius to flat, for
Okay.
sure. And it had a long flat before you hit that gap.
Okay.
That gap was huge, though. It
This
was
was
a
a
monster.
big boy.
Yeah, but the speed you had was freaking awesome, which Scuff Skates also had.
Yeah.
Scuff Skates had I don't know if you never probably went there, did you?
No, well, I mean, all these places were closed before I moved
Okay,
here.
okay.
And I did want to
That's
talk
right,
to
New
you about
Jersey,
scuffs
yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
because everyone I've had on so far has been bikers, and
Yes.
scuffs didn't allow bikes. So
They did.
they did?
Yes, for like maybe 2 or 3 sessions in
Yeah,
the
well,
entire life of that
Yeah,
skate
well,
park.
Jimmy said he went
Yeah,
there one
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like very rare, but I've seen them. I've definitely seen people bike that place. But I spent a lot of time at Scuffs too as well. Scuffs was obviously one of every skateboarder's I think favorite skate park because
Yeah.
it was built for skateboarders.
Yeah.
100%. All the ramps were designed like perfect for skateboarders. The layout was awesome. The demos back then were freaking
Yeah.
ridiculous, dude. I remember being like super bummed when my parents took me to Hollywood, right? And I was hyped to go to Hollywood. Then I found out like 2 days later after I found out we were going to Hollywood that the Baker demo was going to be in Rochester at the same time. It was like, how do we flip flop places like that? Like,
That's
I was
funny.
so mad, dude. Like, I think Reynolds was there and everybody else from the whole team back then. But I remember standing on Hollywood High. I was standing at the top of at the 16 set, and I was talking to my buddies. I called them, and they were telling me that the demo was going on. I called Scuff Skates that day. It was wild. But I was so bummed I missed that, man. That park was really cool for sure. And I always said if I ever become like a millionaire or billionaire, I'm definitely going to redesign and make one of those skate parks in my backyard.
It's funny. I was just looking at a bunch of pictures of scuffs, and I know how much people talk about scuffs, and it looked really
Yeah,
one-dimensional.
very
honestly.
basic.
Yeah.
Very basic, but a lot
And
of
then
fun.
someone posted it today about the pyramid that was there being really good.
Yeah,
But it looked really, really similar to the pyramid that was at RASP as well.
let me think. No. Sort of.
But
Rasp was...
the problem with those things is like, it's not context matters.
Yeah.
It's not just you can take the exact same pyramid, but if you stick it in between other things, it
Yeah.
rides totally different.
It's true. Yeah, the space on that was a lot
Yeah.
more spread out for sure. I remember Scuffs being a little more steeper. The pyramid was a little bit more steeper than the one at
Okay.
Rasp.
Steeper.
Yeah,
See, that's so crazy because the modern skateboarders, at least my take on and the feedback I get is like they would want it to be smaller and mellower.
yeah,
But
for
it's
sure.
just a totally different generation.
Maybe I'm just
Kids these days.
maybe I'm just thinking from when I was like, I don't know, 14, and I'm really tiny, like compared to when I am now. You know?
Well, it's totally true. Riders always romanticize whatever was the skate park where spots they originally
Yeah.
rode at, right? Because
Yeah.
when at RASP, it was always like, "Oh, dude, Extremes was the best," right?
Yeah,
And then I built this, and this is totally nothing like RASP.
yeah,
This is really not like any other Rochester parks, really, because it's like weird.
yeah.
And a lot of the kids that grew up riding RASP hated it here
Really?
because it was like tight and weird and not.
Yeah.
Because RASP was really kind of one-dimensional, one line, really simple. Which now that when I see like pictures of scuffs and stuff, it actually makes a little more sense. But yeah, a lot of the riders, like the OG scooter crew, were like, "Dude, RASP was the best. This place
Yeah.
sucks," you know.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't skate much other than the mini ramp when I came to Rasp because the
It
mini
wasn't
ramp
wasn't very mini.
It wasn't. It was pretty big spine on it. But it was. I've always been just a mini ramp guy. I kind of always. That's just where I go to.
I
But
remember you used to do all kinds of crazy cool combos in the mini and stuff.
Yeah, I feel safest there. If I fall,
Of
I'm not
course,
going to
yeah.
get hurt. You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
Obviously, as you get older, you feel a little bit more safer going in just the mini. But yeah, theirs was really smooth. I love the transition on it. I did once in a while would love to like just go super fast and launch out of the end, the big ass quarter pipe at the very
Yeah.
end of the park. That was fun. I did a wall stall one time. I don't remember if I landed it or not, but I did like stalled on the wall and then jumped back into like a tail stall and then like dropped in. I think Kevin was here. That was one of the last nights that place was open. But that was fun. But I was never a very technical person. I never really skated like the ledges and stuff like that back then.
Did you ever ride the Extreme Skate Park in Charlotte?
Yeah, I hated it. I went there one time.
Okay.
One time, I dropped into that bowl, fell. The layout was horrible, and I also was terrified. Just how I am with the Rock City Skate Park, I was terrified of being in the bowl and a board launching off.
That's a major issue there. Yeah.
Terrified of that, and I went there one time. I remember this, and I never went there again.
How were the bowls though? Because
I just remember being deep as shit.
I heard like a few people say they were good, and a lot of people say that they were horrible.
Yeah, I didn't get ride it enough to even know, man. I literally dropped in one time. I was not a fan. There was another one, Horizon. You remember
Fun
Horizon?
Effects.
Yeah, I like that park. That was I think
that's
it was
the
in
one.
Greece.
Jimmy said the ramps at Horizon Fun Effects were in the parking lot at the Iceplex next to MCC, and they were there for like a summer or two.
Why do I remember that?
They were like metal framed.
Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah, that park was fun.
It's like this journey of like.
Yeah, I know, man.
Crazy.
Well, you're bringing me back. I'm trying to remember all this stuff, but that park was fun. And I remember there's a dude named Justin Barnes, who, ironically, that dude is like a millionaire now. His IG shows him driving around
really
in like a Rolls Royce, and I don't know. I think he's like a filmmaker or something like that. He owns a production company or something. Anyways, the dude used to ride for Fibro, but before that, he used to ride for Credco.
Okay.
He was awesome back then. Super freaking cool, nice dude. But he used to rip that park. Huge gaps and stuff at that park, and definitely one of the guys that a lot of us used to look up to, like the younger guys at least. But yeah, that park was really cool. But Scuffs, I think, still takes it for me.
Scuffs was your favorite?
I think so.
If you can get one session back at any of the parks,
that would be
you would go back to Scuffs.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like the tennis court floor is probably a big sell for the skateboards.
The tennis court sucked if you fell.
Yeah. Okay.
It did not.
Yeah, it's like sandpaper.
I have a lot of cuts from that, and I guess you could say rug burns or turf burn, whatever you want to call it. But that was the one place where I ventured into doing the street skating there because they had a double set. Okay. And that double set was like awesome because it had a really nice long run up to it, and the double set wasn't very high, and it was kind of mellow. One of the best sessions of my life was the very last night that place was open, and I'm very happy about this. It wasn't that big to anybody today, especially, but I kickflipped that. I was super hyped about that.
What was it, like 3 flat 3, 2 flat 2?
I think so. I have video of it. I'll show you. I have it on my YouTube.
Send me that video. I'll cut this out.
Okay. Yeah, I will for sure. But yeah, that night was wild, man. Everybody.
When was this?
Dude, I don't remember.
I've been trying to get a definitive date on when this Scuffs opened and closed, and I haven't been able to get.
I don't know. I wish you got to have on here is Aaron from Credco.
Oh, for sure.
Credco. That dude knows all the good dates.
I would love to have him on. I'm definitely going to get Alan on, get Aaron on.
Yeah, for sure.
It's tough. Same thing. Kids and family is tough, but
I
think we can make it happen.
But that session though was crazy because everybody knew it was the last time we were ever going to skate there, and everybody was just like, I don't give a shit if I get hurt. I'm just fucking landing on it. I don't care. Like, and there was some hard falls that night, man.
No bails, all slams.
No, but a lot of people landed stuff, and it's funny because like it's when you put your mind to it like that, and you really want something, it ends up happening. People were really landing some stuff that, like, I don't know, all for years that we were thinking about trying, but we never actually tried it, and it just happened that night. That session was great, though.
I heard rumors those ramps were in there for years afterwards.
Yeah.
And the sign was still up until a couple of years ago. Like I
know they just took that down. I actually tried to contact the building owner about that because I wanted to get that thing. But
you should just went and got it.
You needed a lift. It was fucking high, dude.
You can't just get like 5 skaters to stand on top of each other's shoulders.
It was a high end. I know it was up there, dude. You know something that not a lot of people know is that we went there enough that we knew how to get in that park. We knew how to turn the lights on. We knew how to operate everything in there. So after that park closed, we were all itching for a skate park. There was nothing around us to skate at that time when that place closed.
So hold on. So that must have been this thing I've been trying to piece together where Scuffs fits in with Extremes 1 and Extremes 2.
Yeah, I remember that there was no other park when it closed. I remember being really bummed because at that point nothing was open. Maybe
I think it's somewhere around 05-ish must have been 6 months to a year between Extremes 1 and Extremes 2.
Yeah.
So is it possible Scuffs closed in 05?
It may be. Yeah. No, it had to be. I don't know, actually, man. I really don't know. I don't remember. No, it couldn't have been 05 because that would have been I would have been out of high school by that time. So I graduated in 04.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so funny.
It's got to be way before that.
Asking everyone that comes into the skate park, and people are giving me wildly different.
Yeah.
No, it must have been 07. And I'm like, there's no way
I
it
know,
was 07.
it wasn't that late. No,
It's
because
like,
I graduated in 04, and I definitely was not going there when I was in high school.
Because Extremes.
I think it had to been when I was
09.
okay. It had to been when I was 16 because I remember driving. I had a Ford Ranger, and I did drive there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What year?
I don't remember that either. I think it was like a 2000 or something. But I do remember.
Son of a gun.
I do remember that place being open. I drove there once or twice, so I had to have been at least 16. So whatever the hell that date was. But anyways, whoa, go ahead.
That would have been 2003.
I guess maybe, yeah.
It had to be.
I would have graduated when I was 17.
Extremes 1 would have been open then.
So then, yeah, 03 then. Maybe it was open. I don't know. I just remember not having a place to go. I truly do remember that. And we were all really bummed, and we were itching to skate somewhere, and it was cold out, and we were used to go down in the downtown jail, skate the mani pads down there in the parking lot. And we got sick of that, so we said, hell with this, and we went and we organized a bunch of guys who used to skate there, and we broke into that place.
Turned all the lights on, just did the thing.
Yeah, there was right next to the entrance to that place was like this air conditioner, and there was an intake for the furnace. And for some reason, there was like this little like door that was right there. So you just had to hop over this fence that was enclosing it and pop this door open, and you got right into it. So we got in there. Turn the lights on. There's no alarms in this place. We were skating for hours, dude. And I remember a couple of our buddies had their siblings with them, and they didn't skate, so we had them posted up at the back garage overhead door and one at the front door watching. And sure enough, I don't know how, somehow cops ended up coming, and I remember we all freaking panicked and we ran out the back door, which was heading towards the expressway.
Yeah.
And we booked, and we got away. We ran away, went to one of our buddies' houses, which was right down the street. But that night was pretty wild, man.
So you were smart enough to not park your cars there?
No.
Right? Yeah.
No, I actually used to park. We would park at ESL.
Okay.
And then we did it. And funny story is I actually did try to do it again, and we got caught, me and Dave Terrell.
Really?
Yeah, we got caught in that parking lot. I parked the car, started running over to Scuffs, and we were going to go and jump in there again. Cops circled by and came in the parking lot, and we just acted like we were just like, skating around the parking lot. And then I started heading back to my truck, and they pulled up on me with like 6 cops. That was an interesting night, but they were pressing us because they knew that we had already broke in there once before. So, but yeah,
that has got to be one of the coolest skate park stories I've ever heard.
Yeah, maybe you'll have that here too one day with some of the scooter kids.
Well,
if you close, hope not.
Well,
hope not. You never know.
After RASP closed,
yeah,
and I helped them close. And they closed in August. I didn't sign my lease in here until like October 1st.
Yeah.
But for all of September, I was here every day.
Yeah.
Like we were in here. I was mostly alone, but I had people helping with it because I didn't know
taking everything apart.
I didn't know if I was going to get a lease, if Buckingham was going to deal with me, if I was going to have to move the skate park, but I didn't have time to waste. So I was in here just doing stuff. And I remember when Tom Latta from Buckingham called me to tell me like we're good. We're gonna we're gonna come down Wednesday. We'll sign the paperwork. And I was like, oh great, can't wait to get working. You know,
Yeah.
in the background, it's like here's circular saw going. You know, and like I'm literally in the space you're telling me I'm gonna get keys to access to.
Yeah.
Because when they evicted Rasp, they changed the locks on the front door, but not on the second door. So I just was coming here and just doing it anyway.
Buckingham had nobody even coming in and checking on the place, huh?
I don't remember even who the maintenance guy was or anything at that time, but like,
yeah,
I'm sure they're not really tuned into what's happening either. Like they're just whatever.
Yeah, that was wild, man. I don't even remember what I was doing back then when that place closed, because I definitely was not skating Rasp as heavily as I was the other parks. Like I was definitely. I think I was in my partying stages at that time.
I remember at Rasp you used to ride some rollerblades. I remember a couple of sessions you borrowed one of the rollerbladers' rollerblades, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this dude rips."
Yeah, I did. Actually, I brought some rollerblades tonight.
Oh, really?
We should try a backflip in the foam pit tonight.
I have a pair of rollerblades, but I can barely make it down. Like
let's do it again. Let's both try it.
Dude, you couldn't pay me to go down that Rollin on rollerblades.
Yeah.
If I had to choose between the 11-foot Rollin on a skateboard or rollerblades, it'd be a really hard choice.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really hard.
Rollerblading is just, I don't know. There's something about rollerblading. I could go super fast on ramps, and I've never had fear about rollerblading. But skateboarding is different, man. And it's weird because you would think opposite, because you can bail on a skateboard and you know, at least kick away. But like, you can't on rollerblades. Like rollerblades, like I don't know why. I just never was nervous to rollerblade, like going super fast. I'd try like the dumbest shit. I'd fall pretty hard. I was never good at grinding ever. Never, ever. I was just good at like kind of airing out and just going fast. But I don't know. It's fun. Get on it from time to time. Yeah. That's about it. All my other buddies were really good at it, though. I'll tell you, like the Shimkiss brothers. I don't know if they're watching this, but
a couple of the OG rollerbladers were here tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah, Nate Hall and Tim Adams.
Oh, today's Thursday, right? Is it Blade Night still?
It is Blade Night, but there's like virtually no one that rollerblades anymore.
Nate Hall's here?
Yeah.
Wow. He's the big popular bartender now of Rochester.
He's a good-looking guy. He's getting married, he told me.
Yeah, good-looking redhead.
Yeah. And and Tim's really good as well. I heard crazy stories about Tim at Extremes doing like the most wild stuff.
Yeah, dude, we got a lot of good rollerbladers here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, for sure.
In Rochester.
Well, Grant's sponsored. There's not too many sponsored rollerbladers.
Yeah,
I
heard that. I heard about that.
He's got his own skate through Rosie's. That's so cool.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know he was sponsored.
He's had his own skate for a couple of years now.
Wow, dude, that's fucking wild.
Which might be the most legitimate sponsor we have in Rochester. I don't know.
I was like Jen Hashman. She was
okay.
I actually used to rollerblade a lot with her at Spinners back in the day. Dude, want to hear? This is something freaking kind of eerie and gross. But I remember skating at Spinners back in the day. Jen was young. She was really young back then. Fearless. One of the fearless skater girls I've ever seen. And she launched the fly box that was in front of the big window at Spinners. And when she landed on the lip, and it bucked her forward, and she put her hands down, and as she was sliding down the ramp, her fingertips went over the metal plate, and it cut every single tip of her finger right off, sliced them. Like she had no fingerprints, dude.
No.
And I remember she got up, she goes, "What the hell, dude?" She comes back up on the ramp, "Look at this guy." Like no crying, no not being in pain or anything. And then skated the rest of the night, dude. Swear to God, she was bloody hands the whole night. I'm like, dude, this girl's crazy.
Wow.
She probably, if she hears this, she probably remembers that. She probably doesn't even have fingerprints anymore, but it was gross.
Wow.
So that can be dangerous at the bottom of those fly boxes of metal, man.
Well, okay. We're at a good point here to do a little halftime. Take a break here, and as I told you in our gave you a little cheat sheet before the podcast, I want to take a break here in the middle, and I wanted to ask you, what's the best advice someone's ever given you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I sprung this question on Zippy without any, and he was caught off guard, but I gave you a little bit of time to think about it. So
yeah. Well, I know I did think about this, and for sure it wasn't necessarily somebody just said a sentence. It was more of a talk
of
go on your own, and it's definitely life changing for sure in a lot of ways. Stress.
What's the context here? Like your business, or is this earlier than that?
For sure. Because, I mean, I never thought it was possible for me to like start a business, and I never even like had that thought in the back of my head. Like I know I was doing a lot of side work. I had a lot of people saying, "Why don't you just go on your own, do your own thing?" And it's one thing to talk about it; it's another to do it. But I always never thought I had enough, ambition to do it, and I also thought it was like incredibly hard to do it. And I went to, I got into the whole plumbing social media stuff that I got going on. I got to go to a lot of these trade shows, talking with a lot of these other people, and I was like one of the only content creators for plumbing that didn't own my own business.
Mm.
But yet, I think a lot of people thought I owned my own business, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I ended up talking to a lot of people that were extremely successful, and they just were like basically talking to me, going, "The
What are
hell's
you
wrong
doing?
with you?
What are you
Like,
doing?
why
Yeah.
are you doing this? Like, you're wasting your time." And I had this one talk with a guy who's a famous YouTuber, Roger Wakefield, and he's probably like the most well-known YouTube educational plumber. He does a lot of videos teaching people about the trades and stuff. And he just laid it out. He's like, "Dude, you got to just go on your own." And I told him that night, I was like, "All right, this was at a show in 2022?" But I told him by next year I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna have a company, and basically that's what happened. I had a company. I didn't quit the union at that time, but I had a company started, and
Okay.
and it definitely is a huge stress reliever because I had a lot of stress working in the union and working a lot of hours. But now it's not like that. It's nice and relaxing
That's great.
for sure. Mentally, it's a nice escape, I guess, when you're not working for somebody and you don't got to be, do exactly what the boss says. Do your own thing, basically,
You know my buddy Troy, the rollerblader.
Yeah.
He told me something really simple, and I don't know if he even realized this. I think recently I told him that he told me this, and he's like, "Oh, I said that." But he said that all being an entrepreneur is saying, "Fuck it, I could do that."
Yeah. Right.
I was like, and that's me in
Right.
every regard, no matter what it is. I'm like, screw it,
Yeah.
I could do that. You
Yeah.
know, like that's just 3 boxes of T-shirts right there we're gonna print. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that action sports really kind of fosters that mentality because you're like, oh,
I
kickflip,
agree.
fuck it, I could do that,
For
So it's
sure.
interesting when you said I didn't know it was a possibility, but then someone was like, no, do it,
Yeah.
Like essentially someone was like, no, it was like you're like, no, get the clip, you got that.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, the trick
Right.
of the clip was starting your own business.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing too that like helped me after that, after them telling me, just do this. Really, Roger was the one I looked up to him when he said that. I was like pretty hyped about it. And but then it's just knowing that I met others that own businesses, that I had this insight that I could like call on and talk to them about owning a business
Yeah.
and running a business, starting a business and everything. I had all these plumbers that own their own business that I could call anytime I wanted. And
That's
that
great.
also helped a lot,
Yeah.
made the confidence go up a little bit more. But yeah, that for me, I'd say was the best advice because it definitely changed my entire life for sure.
But that's how everything goes. Like again, like you want to do a podcast, screw it, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And it helps to again have someone you could talk to about it.
Yeah.
But there's also ChatGPT for that.
Yeah.
So I
I
do
know,
everything
my
on
gosh.
ChatGPT for everything now, dude. When I'm trying to figure out how to get my new camera to work, I'm like ChatGPT in it.
Yeah.
But-
I got my buddy Kurt, and he loves ChatGPT, dude.
It's amazing.
He uses it for everything.
Yeah.
He got a new apartment, and he said that he was using ChatGPT to figure out how to design the inside of the apartment.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It's incredible.
Figured out where to put the couch and get the what kind of furniture to get. No, I was laughing, man.
It's
awesome.
really good for applications where there's a lot of data out
Yeah.
there and try to find some signal in the noise.
Yeah.
It's not good for really like niche little things.
Yeah.
Like I tried to be like, ask it, when did Scuff Skate Park close?
Yeah.
It doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
But if you're, trying to find in an application with this type of pipes, what types of fittings should I use or something? I mean, it'd be interesting to see with your skill set if you think that's accurate. But I used it when I was shopping for new cameras and like,
Yeah. And it gave you good advice.
and you're like, can you make me a chart comparing these models? And it's like,
right.
like literally in 2 seconds, it's like, boom, there's the
Yeah.
full chart.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is pretty wild. I've used it a couple times. I tried to use it for my content, for captions and stuff like that. But I did stump it one time. I did ask it for give me like a list of songs that would go good for this particular video, and it gave me a list of songs. And 3 out of the 10 songs that it listed were like I tried to look them up on Apple Music. They weren't even real songs. They were fucking
they
made up.
made 'em
yeah,
up?
and I was like,
Wow.
type it in, and then I called my buddy or text my buddy Kurt, and I'm like, yo, you ever had this happen? He's like, yeah, it's definitely happened before. It's just like it's over computing and can't think.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it actually made a song name, which I thought was
Just made it all
interesting.
up. Yeah.
But it also makes me now nervous about relying on all the stuff that it actually says. You know.
Yeah,
if
I
it's
asked
actually true.
ChatGPT. I was like, I asked it something like, "Where was X Dream Skate Park?"
Yeah.
And it's like, X Dream Skate Park was in Cleveland, Ohio, and it says some nonsense about it. And I'm like, "Are you sure it was in
Yeah.
Ohio?" And you're like, "Actually, no, I'm not sure. I think it was in Pittsburgh."
Oh my
And you're
god.
like, "Are you sure it was in Pittsburgh?"
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's actually in Albany, New York. I'm like, they're like, "No, are you sure it wasn't in Rochester?"
So it's got some work.
Yeah, it does, yeah. It said when there's not because it's just a large language model, it needs a lot of language to pull from.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
I'll digress from that. That was the best advice you ever got. Go for it, which is
Yeah.
great advice.
And I gotta say too, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna watch this, then they're just gonna. It's just like hearing any other person saying, you know, just make the jump, do your own thing, you know, follow what you're good at, whatever. But it is really true. You got to find a group of people that are good thinkers and think like you, like-minded people, and it definitely will start driving you to a better place, I guess you could say.
But you also got to stick with it.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
just jumping
for
off the
sure.
cliff is part of it. You have to
Yeah.
grind, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, how like in the second half. Oh, this will transition good because the second half I want to talk about your whole plumbing, social media stuff. So
Yeah.
this will work really well. I mean, I'm sure in the beginning you didn't have a lot of engagements, and it slowly ramped
Yeah.
up to where you're at.
right.
So like, what's your biggest platform? TikTok?
Yeah,
How many followers?
286, 80, I don't know, something like that.
284
doesn't matter
followers.
because it's going offline
Yeah.
on Sunday, I guess.
284,000.
Yeah, 284,000.
What's the typical like view count on something that you get good engagement in?
It goes up and down. But for a while, I mean, on average, my videos were hitting like 50,000 views. But it depends on it all depends on the video that you
Yeah.
put up, man.
What's the most you ever got on one?
64 million? I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the point I was gonna make is like, in the beginning, you're not just because you jumped off the cliff. You started doing the thing.
Yeah.
It's sticking with it.
Yeah.
It's the perseverance. It's
Yeah.
it's going with it, seeing what works, and
Yeah.
learning from those things.
Oh, there's a lot of trial and error
Yeah,
with,
for-
with doing
especially
any
'cause-
kind of content creating.
Man, I love economics, right?
Yeah.
And when you're trying to create a business, and that's what it essentially
Yeah.
is, in a algorithm that you don't really know, it's not open source. It's literally just trial and error, and it's
Yeah.
crazy because you can find something that works, and then if they change the algorithm, all of a sudden, it doesn't work.
Yeah. No, it's
And
true.
luckily for you, like you have a full-time plumbing job,
Yeah. Right.
but like there's been content creators where the algorithm changes and all of a sudden they go from making money on YouTube
Right.
to not making money.
Right. No, for sure. No, it's true. 100%. No, yeah. I mean, it's also why you got to be on multiple platforms. If you are trying to if you're trying to make money from content creating, I mean, it's the only smart thing to do is to be on multiple platforms.
And that's your goal?
I mean, it's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since I started it. Do you want
And
to
you're
get? Do you
making-
want to get into this?
you're making money
There's a
on-
lot to it. You want me to start talking about this part?
We don't have to get into the fine details, but like
Yeah.
you're making money on social media?
Yeah. I started making more money than I was making in the union, which was also a very helpful.
So we'll just stick it with percentages so we're not using overall numbers. You're making more than 100% of the money you made in your union plumbing job. You made more than that in social media.
Yeah.
Okay, is that through sponsorships or how does that work?
Through platforms paying me and paid advertisement deals, and if you also want to factor in the tools that were sent to me as well,
Yeah.
because it was quite a bit.
So do you get money from TikTok?
I did, yeah,
So TikTok will pay you if you have big enough content.
yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah. Well, put it this way, and this doesn't go for the 64 million view one that I got, because that one I was pretty pissed about. That was before I was monetized, but for every for every million views that you see a content creator get,
Hmm.
you're getting $1,000
Okay.
from TikTok.
Okay.
So do the math on any videos that you see on TikTok, and that's what those people are getting. Now the people that are selling,
And
being
your 64 million view
I didn't
was
get that.
before you
Yeah,
were monetized.
yeah. Well, you got. I know. Trust me, it was a tough one to swallow. But
No.
yeah, I know. But that, you got to get to a certain. Back then, it was different for TikTok. Back then, you had to get 10,000 followers before you could monetize.
Mhm.
Now, I believe if you start a creating channel, I believe if you once you get to 4 or 5,000, they offer you the option to
Okay.
monetize. But back then, it was also like I didn't really have any help. I was just putting up videos, and
Yeah.
some videos were doing way better, and I just kept remaking those videos. And
Mhm.
I knew because my wife kept telling me like, "There's people making money off this. Do
Mhm.
this, do this," and I was like, "Okay, let's try it." And I finally got to that point. I got monetized.
Pro tip: listen to your wife.
Yeah, for sure. She watched TikTok back then. I actually didn't. And I got to give a shout out to the guy who actually is texting me right now, my buddy Brian Bouchard, because he's the one who actually got me into even putting a video on TikTok. He kept sending me videos from TikTok constantly, dude, for probably solid 2 years. And I'd click it, and then I couldn't watch it because I wasn't on TikTok.
Yeah.
So eventually I broke down one day, and I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll just get on it. I thought it was just like literally the dancing and
Yeah.
whatever. I got on there, and I was like watching the videos. Like, man, this can be kind of addicting. It's like endless scrolling or
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, every platform has moved to the TikTok model.
Yeah, for sure. The short format. And
Shorts.
Yeah, for
Reels.
sure.
Whatever.
And so, yeah, I got on there, and then he's telling me, he's like, because I actually made a couple stories on my personal page of doing plumbing, and I had a bunch of, I'd say probably like 15, 20 people message me and go, hey, if you ever need any help, like let me know. I'd love to do like almost like a ride along. I would really like to know how to do plumbing. I was like, wow, that's interesting. People are actually interested in what I'm doing.
Okay.
So my buddy was one of them. He's like, yo, you should do some videos on TikTok because there's these plumbers that are also doing it, blah, blah, blah. So I put up a couple videos, and one of them hit like, I think it was like 23,000 in 24 hours, which
That's pretty good.
like back then, I was like shitting my pants. I'm like 24,000 people. Like, what the? That's crazy. But then as you build up a following, the numbers just roll in a lot higher and higher. And then when you get one good viral video, dude, everything just blows up. And as long as if you're consistent with posting, and I'm talking 1 or 2 videos per day for a solid 3-4 months, I can guarantee, I'm willing to bet my company on this, that you will 100% blow up, 100%. But
That's like 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's a
I'm
sacrifice.
trying to do like 3 a week.
And it's a sacrifice. and that's the thing, is like a lot of people, they go, oh, you're making money off of social media and this and that. It doesn't seem like it's that hard, whatever. But like sometimes it can be. Like sometimes
it's hard.
I
It's
don't
a
want to
grind.
make a video.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I don't even want to film. I'm on a job. I'm tired. I
Yeah.
don't want to set the camera up over here, over here, over here, over here. I just want to do the job and leave. But at the end of the day, it was supplying my family with an income, and it was a very good income. So I was definitely really, really inspired to keep going at it. Once I figured out TikTok, though, TikTok is, I'll be honest, that is the easiest platform to grow on.
Really?
For sure. By far.
I
the
briefly had a
easiest.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I used to watch your stuff.
Did
and then
you-
I deleted it because it's Chinese
Yeah.
propaganda.
I don't-
I had a disc golf TikTok.
well,
Before but the business was good, and during COVID it was still kind of good.
Yeah.
And I was really into disc golf, and I was like fully committed to disc golf YouTube. And then post COVID, my traffic just died, and the skate park started dying, and I had to revert all attention
Yeah.
back to this.
yeah.
So for like one summer, I was doing a lot of content on disc golf.
Yeah. Did you have any videos go kind of viral? or what?
Maybe 5, 10, 15,000.
Yeah.
Views really add up quick on TikTok.
Yeah, they do. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. They-
And coming from action sports, like it's so easy to make a video for like anything other than action sports, because you're like not trying 47 times to get
Yeah.
the clip. You just like set it up, I mean, you cut the pipe. Got the clip.
Yeah.
You know, high fives, everybody.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Well, excuse me. TikTok, I mean, it's an interesting app. I mean, it definitely was the easiest to grow on. But what I noticed is that like I had like a good stretch where I was like getting real famous in Vietnam for some reason.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
Okay.
my videos were like blowing up. So if I posted late at night, it must have been morning for them or something. I don't know.
Are they bilingual enough that matters, or is it?
I don't know, but like the analytics showed Vietnam, I was
weird.
just like killing it with my numbers, and a lot of my videos were hitting like anywhere from 600 to like 2 million on average at that time period. This was like a year ago, and yeah, it was all in Vietnam. Those where the numbers were coming from. But that's the thing with TikTok is that sends your video out. I think more towards the whole world rather than like on Instagram. If one of my videos goes viral on Instagram, it like goes viral in America first, and then once it gets like decently viral, like 5 million views, then it will push to another country and it'll start blowing up again.
Weird.
And then it will push to another country and it'll but TikTok just like goes out to the whole world. I don't know why that is, but that's just what I noticed. Like in like how they, because there's some videos that like I'll have up for like a month and a half, and then all of a sudden it'll just blow up on Instagram. On TikTok, if it doesn't blow up within the first like 24, 48 hours, it's
a wash. Move on to the next one.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's I think that's part of their algorithm though. Like I mean, dude, some of these people are killing it on there. I mean, obviously hitting. There's a couple people in Rochester that have over 1 million followers, and they're making a lot of money, dude. A lot selling shit too. They're like they're QVC models, you know, at their own
like
house.
all his partner programs and stuff.
I've never done that. That's just, I know I can. I've been off. There's a million. You can look at my phone. I have 1 million offers from 1 million companies, but like I'm just not the sales guy.
So Chevy didn't give you that truck?
Oh, Chevy. You want to talk about that? That was like,
so you have a deal.
You
You actually have a deal with Chevy?
It was no. The deal with Chevy was a 1 week trial with the truck. Basically they sent it to me. I can't really talk about all the details with the contract. But couple videos,
This is legit, dude.
Couple videos, you know, in exchange for, I guess you could say a free rental. I guess you could say,
okay,
for a week, in hopes of a future like a long-term contract, if we put it that way.
Wow,
but
you're legit.
I'm hoping. Yeah, we're hoping. I know Ford does it with a lot of the other carpenter creators.
Yeah, but then he has to drive a Ford.
I know. But hey, it's a free truck. So
I'm a Ford guy.
It's a free truck. So hey.
Well, I had that F-150, and it's all aluminum. And then when I crashed it, they totaled it because they can't do body work on it because it's all aluminum.
Yeah,
it's kind of BS. But hey, at least it's not a Japanese truck. Am I right, brother?
Well, I don't know. I might take a Japanese truck. Why not?
Tacoma?
Yeah, why not?
No, those new Tacomas, they got those 4-cylinder turbos.
I like the Tundras.
Tundra's a little bigger, yeah.
Those things are pretty sick.
Truck stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I saw your post with the Silverado, and after a couple, I'm like, does he even deal with Chevy? That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, they're. Let me put it this way, man. Content creating right now, it doesn't matter what you're doing. We're still like on the beginning stages of advertising with content creating. The makeup companies and like all that with the girls on TikTok and stuff, they've been killing it for a while, but all these other companies that do traditional advertising like on TV and radio and stuff are just now figuring out that content creators can sell like a lot more. Let me put it this way too. This is an interesting one. And I heard recently that CNN and Fox News per week for cable views, they're on average getting 2 million to 3 million views per week for their each. So let's say it's 6.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so let's say it's 6 million combined for 1 week with Fox News and CNN together, right? So my view count on Facebook alone per month, I was averaging anywhere from 25 to 50 million views per 30 days. I'm averaging higher numbers on Facebook, just Facebook, than they are on cable television. These are major news stations. So
wow.
I mean, the advertising is right there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a no brainer if you're a company for the type of work that I'm doing. It's a no brainer
Yeah.
to start doing deals with.
And I would have to
content
imagine the
creators.
demographics that still watch CNN and Fox are old, and as
Yeah,
they
for sure.
die
And
off.
so are on Facebook, by the way.
Yeah.
Facebook's a
Well, yeah,
lot of older
yeah,
people.
for sure.
Yeah, TikTok is a lot of younger people. Instagram's a little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just an interesting fact, about the numbers with content creating.
So who do you think watches your plumbing videos?
I think it's apprentices because I get a ton of DMs about
Are
people.
there that many apprentices?
There's a lot of people that are in high school or they're actually in another career and they don't like where they're at and they want to learn plumbing. So they take an interest in it. Just like when I was telling you I posted up on my personal page and I've got friends that were asking me about it. They're interested. And those people were all desk job people. So it's definitely people that are either apprentices that just got into the trade or they're people that are in a career that they don't like. They're thinking about switching. I've even had people that were in their 50s and they said, "Do you think I have enough time to make the jump?" And I try
There's
to
always
figure it
time
out.
to make the jump.
I try to help them, try to guide them. I still will. And if anybody's watching this too, the number one, the best way to get an education in the plumbing
Just
world.
do it.
Well, do it. But where to go is go to a union. Go to a union because they're going to give you the best education and for the most affordable price, for sure. And then you can keep working while you're going to school, and you can decide if the union is the right way to go, or if you want to go non-union, or you want to start your own business or whatever. But regardless, you're going to get 5 years of schooling with a union, and you're going to learn plumbing, and you're going to figure out a good career path. But so, anyways, people reach out. And it's a ton of the younger people, but then on Facebook, it's a lot of the older retirees. And if I put a video up, they always have a way that they did it that was 10 times better back when they were the master plumber, in town. So every platform's different with who's on there and who's watching my stuff. I got a lot of people that don't like my stuff too, which most successful accounts have a lot of haters.
Haters are always a sign that you're doing things right.
Yeah, 100%.
I've always had lots of haters.
Yeah, and you know what else is funny too is that you don't even in the content creating world when you start getting bigger, you don't just have haters like randos. You have actually haters that are also content creators that will start coming up out of nowhere. I won't say names, but it happens.
You got other plumbers calling you out?
Oh yeah, it happens. Yep, it's crazy.
Now,
But yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it seems like in plumbing, there's a lot of different types of pipes.
Lots of pipes.
PVC and the plastic one with the
Yeah.
machine and all this stuff.
Crimper.
So are there different camps of plumbers that are like, you gotta do copper and solder, brother?
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's what's the word? Sacrilegious. It's
Yeah, exactly. The old guys, they have their ways, man. The old timers that like I said on Facebook, those dudes will not bow down to the new technology, such as they will never ever use ProPress. They will only use
with the thing that expands it. That looks like it's awesome.
No, not expanding.
Okay.
This crimps to the pipe. It's copper fitting.
Oh, that
on copper
pipe.
pipe.
I've seen that tool. Yeah.
And it
I watch your videos.
Right. But excuse me, Space Kitties make me burp here. The ProPress crimps it to the pipe, and the old school way is to solder, and soldering's great, 100%. But the warranty for soldered fittings is the same as a ProPress fitting, and I've had great luck with it. So I don't know, when people hit me up in the comments and they are hating on the new technology, dude, this thing will make your job 10 times easier. 10 times faster. It's more efficient. It's cheaper for the customer. Why wouldn't you do this? And they just won't. They won't get down with it, and they hate on me in the comments, dude. You should hear some of this stuff. I'm a hack. I don't know what I'm doing. This is that, dude. You get that all the time. I'm a handyman. But
wow.
Yeah.
Now, as a professional, can you tell me why there's an L in solder?
I don't know that. I always actually question it. Sometimes, when I'm typing the captions, I write that, and I'm like, that doesn't look right.
I would imagine for content creation, you'd want to do all of it because that's more content. Some you solder, some you do the other.
Yeah. No, I do both for sure. But there's a time and a place. Not always can I solder. Sometimes ProPress is better for in houses because you're less likely to put yourself in a position where you're going to burn the house down because you don't have an open flame from soldering. You know, so it's there's pros and cons to it. I don't know. I like it, but the machine is very expensive. The ProPress machine is not cheap.
But that's not a big deal when you're sponsored by
correct.
Milwaukee.
It isn't. Yeah, but when you are a guy who's in the comment section who's shitting on me, I understand their pain because to buy that tool is probably like anywhere between $2,500 for a small one.
Oh my God!
Going up to around $6,000. Yeah.
Wow, that's really expensive.
Oh my God! Since we're on the topic, and I own a business, and a lot of people, always if they have a plumber come in the house, and they get hit up with the bill, and they're wondering why the bill is so much. It takes a lot of money for these contractors to invest in these companies. I'd say for like a one-man van, you're looking at $100,000 just in tools just to get started. I mean, snaking is not cheap, and people do not understand that. Equipment's very expensive. So if you ever have a plumber, don't hate on him. Don't get mad at him. He's
you snaked my pipes and it was on
a couple
your TikTok,
times, which went viral multiple times, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
dude, that's crazy. So you can go do a job for someone, get paid for the job, but then get paid 10x money on the views on the content.
Correct.
But also it takes more time to film it and edit it.
It does.
But wow.
Filming snaking videos is not fun, by the way.
No.
This phone is probably covered in shit.
Literal.
I've filmed so many videos.
Wow.
With plumbing videos. But I'm touching it with the gloves and resetting up angles. Yours was a fun one. But yeah, that was a good one actually.
There's a ton of roots in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the angle, it's hard to film, but good close up.
So now, to have you on, it's really ironic. My washer machine is backing up. So I have some sort of clog between the washer machine and the
just gotta run a snake down it.
Yeah.
Just one of those, $15,000
$15,000
snakes down it. It'll do the trick.
Hey, what are you doing after this podcast?
Yeah.
Because mine, I don't know if you remember, my kitchen you did, the bathroom comes down on the one side of the basement, and then the sink comes down from the other side.
Yeah.
And then that combines with the washer.
Yeah.
And the washer's backing up out of the back because there's a trap and a top thing where you put the washer in or whatever.
I just remember the pipes in your house are pretty.
They're haggard.
Yeah, a handyman definitely came through that.
Yeah,
house.
the pipes at my kitchen sink, and
they don't even have hangers on them. They were just dangling in the middle of your...
No, behind the washing machine where they went to the out.
Oh yeah, that one.
They all came apart.
Yeah,
and there was the purple marks on them, but whoever did, they just didn't. I went through and I literally one day took them all apart and redid the thought. Yeah, I used to got all new ones, but yeah.
I'll come by.
Question in the chat: do you bill differently if you're filming on the job?
Dude,
and do clients get weird about when you're filming?
No, so. Here's what I do: is I go in and I will. Sometimes people already know that I do this. A lot of my customers do. But
are we going to be on TikTok?
Yeah. When I first started, I didn't tell anybody, and then I started to kind of feel bad that I didn't, because sometimes I was in people's houses and they didn't know that I filmed. I'm not filming their personal belongings. I'm filming their plumbing.
A liability release.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was filming shit. I'm not filming
literal.
I'm not filming anything, But anyways, as I got a little bit bigger with it, I started telling the people, and I explained I got these social media accounts, and I make educational videos because I'm basically showing you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And every person that I film, I always make the video, and if they're aware of it, I send them the video that I made in their house so that they can check it out. And if they have a problem with that, take it down. Never had an issue. Everybody seems to be really cool. Everyone's understanding. But the joke about, hey, if you're going to make $1 million off this thing, you're going to give me a discount. Yeah, that comes up quite often.
Yeah.
But the thing is not every video goes viral,
Some videos, give you 10% off.
Yeah, I know. For sure. Which I can, I'll do it.
It's here's $100 back thing.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a gamble, man.
Yeah, 100%.
And if people don't want me doing it, no problem, I won't. But nobody's said no so far. Everyone's pretty supportive of it. A lot of people don't really understand it too. I think everybody thinks whenever I bring up anything about making videos, they think I'm just on YouTube. Like, and I honestly don't. I'm on YouTube, but I don't post on it. I only have like 7,000 followers on there. Like, very rarely post on there.
Your TikTok, Facebook,
Yeah, I'm on like the
Instagram.
short format version.
Are you on X?
No, I'm not an X. A couple people asked me about that. I have never been a big Twitter guy or any kind of text.
X
anything.
doesn't seem like that style. It seems like they're trying to.
Yeah. I'm on Threads, which is the Instagram's platform, but it's only I don't even go on it. It automatically sends my content to that platform.
Do you have any other automation in your posting and whatnot?
What do you mean?
Like we're post to multiple platforms?
Never do that. If you're trying to do content creating, don't do that. Don't use those stupid programs that
you just do it all yourself.
So the problem is TikTok, they want you to be over a minute. If you want to get paid, you have to be over a minute. And that can be, I think, up to like 6 minutes or more. The longer, the better.
Reels have to be under 90 seconds.
Correct. Yeah. And then same thing with Facebook, because Facebook is the same thing as Instagram.
Okay.
But when you go to Shorts on YouTube, it's 60 seconds. So it's 30 seconds off my normal videos that I have to try and chop up. So it's a whole nother job to start taking my content that I made already for these platforms that can accept up to a minute and 30 and chop it down. Sometimes I'm filming 4 or 5 hour jobs and cramming it into a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
To knock off another 30 seconds is quite a bit,
for sure.
you know? So that's why I don't post as much on YouTube. I will probably if TikTok gets taken down, because I really want to get into the long format where I'm just doing full jobs, showing you everything, because that's really where the big money is at. But it's also very time consuming editing, which you know. Yeah. Editing is very time consuming. It's time consuming. I probably spent about an hour, 2 hours on some of the more complicated videos. Like for
you edit all on your phone?
Everything on my phone.
Oh my god,
everything. But dude, you get me on a phone and you probably be like, "What the hell is this kid doing?" Like, I mean, I've tried to show people what I do and they don't understand it. I don't use CapCut. I use LumaFusion, which is
I don't even know what that is.
It's similar to like Adobe, but for your phone.
Yeah.
It's very complicated, but
yeah, I edited on Premiere, and I edited with 2 monitors for so long. Even editing on 1 monitor seemed like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's also what I've done for. I mean, I edited my first DVD in 2008, I think. So.
Yeah, but dude, you could do it.
Yeah.
Anybody that skates that has grown up filming, editing, making Instagram videos can do what I do, and it doesn't. You don't have to do plumbing. Obviously, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
If you are consistently making a clip a minute and 30 seconds and you are posting constantly, and I stress this because I want other people to make money off of doing the same thing I did.
Yeah.
I love to teach people this. Anything that you can post online that you can have a category of some sort that you can continuously post 2 to 3 times a day or 1 to 2 posts per day for a solid 3 to 4 months, you're guaranteed to blow up. Guaranteed. But people get very discouraged. Month 1 goes by, and they're not seeing anything. They get 50, 100 views. They don't see nothing. They get discouraged, and then they quit. I've seen this happen so many times, dude. So many times. But it's if you just stick with it, it's the same thing on TikTok, Instagram, and on Facebook. Pretty much any social media platform. But TikTok is just the easiest, like because I said, it goes out to the world. It's different on the other 2 platforms. Instagram's hard to grow on, though.
I'm doing 1 podcast a week and trying to cut out 3 reels every week. And I'm getting about 3,000 views per reel. And I've been doing this for about a month.
You're good.
Now.
You're in the category.
It's
because
decent growth.
Eventually you are tricking. I get not necessarily tricking, but you're telling that platform that you are putting out more content than the average user. So you are essentially telling them that you are a content creator.
Yeah.
If you're putting out, and that's another thing too, it has to be high quality. You have to have high quality video. If you have like some grainy ass footage, you're not going anywhere with your videos.
Well, that's why I bought a new camera that didn't work tonight.
I see that, and that will make a huge difference for sure. For some reason, their platforms have the capability of recognizing stuff like that.
Well, I think it's part of even engagements. Like when I see something that's kind of like that's not sharp, I'm way less likely to
watch it. Yeah, you're not interested in it.
I'm reading this book right now. I've brought this up on the podcast already called The Extinction of Experience.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like they measure by milliseconds based on how fast pages loaded and how fast videos load.
Really?
And like people really respond to really subtle differences in
Huh.
how sharp content is, how quick content loads, how quickly you get to the point in the content.
Yeah.
Like you really got to grab people in the first like second.
Yeah, 3 seconds is what they.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the golden rule for any content creator. The first 3 seconds, you got to grab the attention.
Yeah.
And that actually, the on TikTok, the way they pay you is by the 3 second viewers, and I believe it was the 10-second viewers. If you have more 10-second viewers, then you're more likely to make more money on TikTok. But I mean, yeah, it you just got to make good, clear content, and you got to make people talk. Got to make people talk in the comments. You make people talk in the
100%.
comments, that boosts your engagement number.
My engagement's been up like 25-30%
Yeah.
this month just by posting like way more.
Yeah.
And like at the same time, I've lost some followers. I know some people don't want to see it, but at the same time, like, what are you gonna do? Like,
Fuck those people. Sorry,
Yeah,
excuse
yeah.
me, but seriously.
like my goal with the podcast is, and I probably should be more upfront and just spam this out during the podcast. Is I want to build, a customer base, a fan base, a listener base to get $5,000 a month on Patreon. Just at that $5 a month, whatever. Because if the skate park got $5,000 a month, half my rent is paid for, and I would never have to really worry about the skate park closing.
Yeah.
I think that's like, how many people do you think there are in the country doing what I'm doing right now?
Not very many.
Five, six.
Not as invested as you are.
Yeah.
You are a different type of an owner, and
Just even at the scale, like there's tons of little skate parks around.
Yeah.
Like there's that park in Wilkes Barre.
Yeah.
That's skateboard only. I don't know the name of it, and it's been around for a really long time because it's like a little skateboard only. That's a different entity than trying to be 20,000 square feet and include everything.
Right.
Like there's none. They're all
Right.
closing.
No, you're right. And I know is this going to be another dip then? I don't know. Is that what you're anticipating?
No,
in like the whole skate
I was
park
actually gonna-
world or what?
I just want. Hold on. What are you asking?
Well, because I wonder about that. Like, because this happened before. I mean, skate parks disappear.
You're asking about action sports in general.
Do you think that like no, not just yours, but like multiple other ones? Because I know I was talking with Aaron actually recently about like just the whole in general skateboarding and other action sports are starting to decline.
Yeah, we're probably at. I would hope we're at a low point.
Yeah.
I don't think it can get worse than this. And these action sports go in these like 10 to 20 year waves.
Yeah.
If you think back
No, I know
to
exactly.
the
That's what I'm
early
saying.
2000s, like we were talking about when there was 4 different skate parks in Rochester in 5 years.
That was amazing.
When there was X Games and Gravity Games.
Yeah.
And Gravity Games shut down Love Park at Center City, Philly, and like that's crazy. It's impossible right now.
No, yeah.
These sports are back when like everything was right guard extreme. Everything was extreme, right?
Yeah, right.
We're at just a super low point.
Right.
And that's why everyone I talk to, whether it's skate park, TriStar skate park in Cleveland just closed. The skate distro I'm talking to, they're like hurting. Scooter companies are hurting. Bike GT and Harrow. Well, rumor is Harrow's dropping their
Man, they've stuck
BMX
around
program.
a long time, man.
Yeah, GT just dropped their BMX program.
Wow.
Rumor is Harrow's about to do it too, which is crazy because Harrow was only BMX forever. It's really we're at a low point.
Wow.
And that's part of the reason I'm doing this is I want to have conversations and inspire people to not necessarily for them to ride, just for them to tell people about riding. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot, if it's someone like you who has a career and a life, you're like, well, it's not like the shout out Steve. I doubt he'll listen to this, but he's an HVAC guy that helps me out.
Okay.
And he's an old BMX
Yeah.
guy. He's a cool guy. And he's like, I can't, it's not worth it. I fall, I hurt my wrist, and I can't do my work.
That's where
And I
I'm at,
totally get it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he can't tell his, nieces, nephews, and whatnot. Like, no, like I comment on stuff all the time from the skate park account. I go, take your kids to the skate park.
Yeah.
From the news, from rant, like drop your kids off at the skate park.
Yeah.
Just drop them off. They'll figure it out.
You're right.
Ugh, it kills me, dude.
Yeah. Well, what are you? I know that like the scootering industry got really big there for a while. Is that still?
Oh, scootering's not great right now.
No.
Companies
Really?
are really,
They're tanking.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
A couple of the big ones have dropped out. A couple of the big ones have sustainably scaled back. But it's more so smaller rider-owned companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, scootering is really strong in Rochester because we have a great scene.
Yeah.
It's the strongest scene we have.
Really.
but scootering, the big industry, is like not really.
Huh. Yeah, I know nothing about it.
It's like
very
no
curious.
one's getting sponsored anywhere. No one's making money right now.
Well, I just know that you did really well with the camps. So
The
and
camps
that
are
was
all mixed.
thriving from the scooter kids, I would imagine, right? It wasn't as so much from the skating, was it?
Um, it's like, well, the problem is not a problem. The most little kids that come to the skate park are naturally going to gravitate towards the fastest learning curve, which offers the most fun, especially when you're trying to balance that against this
I was gonna say
dopamine
this is what's
system.
this is what's causing that
Yes.
short span of attention.
I mean, you give a kid a skateboard. I mean, it's how long is it going to take till that kid is proficiently navigating around the
Yeah.
skate park? Months.
Yeah,
On a scooter,
yeah,
in like 2 months, you're doing tricks,
right.
right?
Yeah.
I regularly do skateboard lessons with kids, and as we're doing it, they're going, and they're watching scooter kids like zip up ramps and
Yeah.
jump it, and they're like, "Well, I came here because I want to have
Yeah,
fun."
right, right.
I'm almost like, no, like a lot of kids, what they do is they'll scooter and skateboard, and they'll go out on the skateboard first. They'll try a little bit. They
hurt.
get frustrated, because it's so
Yeah.
difficult. Then they grab the scooter, they cruise around, they have fun, do a little tail whip, whatever, and then they got the fun out.
Yeah,
Then they get the skateboard. And like, okay, because like there is that, the dopamine response is greater. The harder it is, the greater it feels to land the trick or whatever.
which I've seen some really good skaters and yeah, what you said, skater / scooter guys.
Yeah.
There's some really good ones, especially at the downtown park. I've seen
Well, it
them
translates.
a
The footwork translates a
Yeah.
lot. Scooters are like really, really good scooter riders. It's very similar to really good skateboard riders. When there's that like foot to magnet on the deck
lot.
thing,
Yeah,
where it's like
yeah, for real.
like really good scooters, they catch everything with their toes.
right.
You ever watch that Fox? Fox is incredible. He's like the best scooter rider ever.
I haven't seen him in a while. I do remember little kitty, right? He's little, isn't
He's
he?
an adult now.
Oh, he is. I haven't seen him since he was.
He's a welder. He gets up at like
Oh,
4
no
a.m.
way. How
Oh
old is
yeah.
he?
I don't know, 20 now. I don't know.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, he's
my
and he's
gosh.
still
He worked here, right?
he volunteered when he was a kid. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Volunteered.
and like dude, when he does a trick, he catches the scooter before it lands with his toes clean and nice. It's soft.
Yeah.
Other scooter kids are like skaters, toes hanging off just their
Yeah.
heel. Like that's that thing where it's like when you see like you said like Nick Donofrio, like the skaters who are good, it looks like there's magnets in their deck and it's like pah,
Yeah.
and they just catch it.
Yep.
Oh. Everyone wishes they had that.
Yeah. I love seeing people that have talent like that. I really do. It's just Donna Frio is one, man. That kid blows my mind, man. He really does because he's getting older. He's in the trades. The kid freaking does tiling, man. He's on his knees a lot.
Oh.
He does flooring and stuff, and then he also does a bunch of other shit. But skating and being that consistent as you're getting older is mind blowing to me because it hurts my knees sometimes when I watch some of the shit he does. But
All right, well, this is going to be the longest podcast I've ever done. We're like an hour and a half in.
keep
That's
going
good.
all night,
Yeah.
man. Get a couple beers in the
Yeah.
podcast, and
But I want to transition to the last topic, which is just about. Well, before I get to the last one, are there any lessons you learned or things that translate from skateboarding or rollerblading that made you better at your job now?
yeah,
Like, would you be a worse plumber had you not done it? Give me something on that.
I think that I think I would have not been doing plumbing. I
Okay.
can tell you that because I would have quit a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got into the union, and it's different now. So I don't want people thinking it's like this now, but it isn't. But back then, it was like almost like a hazing, I guess you could say. Like when you get into the union, they would treat apprentices like crap, man. And then you'd start thinking like, wow, why am I doing this? But it kind of was like the same thing with skating. Like you got beat up doing a trick, like trying to learn that trick. You fell a million times. And then like once you actually succeed in doing that trick, it's like such a good feeling. And it was the same thing for me. Like when I was trying to please, I guess you could say, some of the older plumbers that were just beating on me. Maybe like 1 year in, I do like I solder a joint or something. They're like, hey, nice job, kid. It was like almost the same feeling. Like, and I don't think that I would have stuck it out, I think, as long as if I didn't learn like that whole progression period as I got it from skateboarding basically, and that definitely goes for other people. And what's funny too is a lot of the people I meet in the trades either biked or skateboarded or rollerbladed. A lot of them, and it's almost like we've all got like this whole trial and error thing kind of figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, that is huge for sure, absolutely.
One of the themes of this podcast that I try to stick to without really technically defining it, although I'm going to define it now, is I think it's positive masculinity.
Yeah.
And I think what you just explained is an aspect of that.
Yeah.
And like masculinity gets a bad rap because of whatever in the political zeitgeist now. But that like kind of like teasing you, kind of giving you a hard time, but out of a place of love. Like those plumbers that gave you a hard time is because they wanted you to do better, right? When you did good, they're like, all right, you did good. And that felt great, right?
No, for sure.
And it's just like part of the anti-bullying thing really chips away at some of the positive aspects of masculinity. Because there's a line between teasing and bullying. Yeah. Because a bully is trying to tear you down to feel better about themselves. Right. When men are teasing each other, they're like, bro, that was kind of sketchy. Your toe is hanging off. Like, come on. That's like play. That's not bullying. Right. And I think we need to be better about where that line is. And skateboarding and BMX are, scootering, etc., they walk that line in a way that when someone gets into the skilled trade, they know, okay, this guy's just he's busting my balls. It's not like And that's what men do. Like anywhere new you go to work, like men are gonna kind of mess with you, see how you deal with it, and if you can't deal with it, then you're not gonna last.
For sure. Yeah, it definitely makes you a tougher person, for sure.
And that's the thing. Other thing about the same positive masculinity is like you have to, like you don't have to be a tough person, but like what a good partner or a good father is, like you have to be tough, right, and in the right time and right place. That's because that's what women want. That's what a good protector and father is. It's like you're tough and mean and masculine and strong in the places you're supposed to be, and soft and delicate in the places you're supposed to be. And if you have one and not the other, it's obviously not a good.
Are you saying that you know what women want?
I mean, maybe. I am married.
Man, I still haven't figured that out yet. But yeah.
What's the thing? Well, that's what we're talking about. It's like it's that dichotomy, that duality of like it's like women kind of want you to be an asshole to the people that are being mean to her. Yeah. Right? Like you can't just be soft all the time because you need to be a protector to some degree.
Well, you know about this now because you're a father now.
I am a father.
Which, by the way, how's your kid doing?
She's sick right now, but she's amazing. Yeah. It's like the best thing, one of the best things that ever happened to me. Yeah. It's awesome.
It is.
You have two kids, right?
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
5 and 10.
Wow. Blake's 10?
Yeah, dude.
Holy crap.
He's big.
Oh, my God.
He's practically a teen now, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What does he do?
He's a big gamer. Big gamer.
You're letting him do that?
I'm not letting him. He also plays soccer quite often, and he's freaking good at it, like ridiculous. We take him to, Craig Demon. He used to be on the Rhinos. He owns a place out in East Rochester. He does private lessons, and so he does futsal there and also travel soccer. So he does a lot of outdoors as well, but he's very good at Fortnite. We'll put it that way too on his off time. Cody is my youngest, and he's a madman, like just crazy all the time.
2 boys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Like just tonight before I came here, they're fighting back and forth. Chill out, guys. Every once in a while you gotta yell at them, but yeah, they're crazy. Cody's definitely gonna probably be, I would say, more like the action sports kid for sure. Blake is more of the team player, playing soccer and stuff. The kid's freaking awesome. But you invest a little time in like anything like that with them. I mean, we put him into the private lessons for soccer, and he's getting amazing. And it's the same thing if you set your kid here. You invest them in the time into the camps and stuff, and they're going to get really good at this. You'll probably be seeing Cody here for sure.
Sick.
pretty soon here. He's 5 and he does jump on the scooter and he's freaking crazy on the scooter.
Really?
By the way, but he also is interested without me even pushing him towards skateboarding, which I'm like super hyped about. I never wanted to push my kids into it ever. Never
You don't have that
was
mini
like,
ramp anymore?
I don't,
Okay.
but they, when I had it, they jumped on a couple times. They weren't like super hyped about it. But I've never wanted to be the guy who just like push my kids into it.
It's
I
the
want
worst.
that. I want them to like figure out what they want, and then that's what I'm going to invest in with them for sure. So I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to be skateboarding for at least one of my kids. But if it isn't, it's all good. My oldest, he does like the bike though. Got him the kink bike here.
Yeah.
And we travel with that. We've gone to a couple of skate parks with that, and he loves them. Loves the biking.
That's
but
awesome. Yeah, one vein here is that with the huge downturn and drop in my customers post-COVID, I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
But also with like having a kid on the way, I was reading a lot of the books, Free Range Kids and Jonathan Haidt's book, the Anxious Generation and Free to Learn, and Abigail Schreier's book, Bed Therapy, which is phenomenal. And basically what I learned is that, if you skated or rode and you understand risk management, I think that makes you in theory, should make you a better parent, because that kid has to manage that risk, has to make those assessments on their own.
Yeah.
And the problem is too many parents are just like always in the room, and if they're not in the room, someone else is. These kids never have a chance to wrestle with the everyday stresses of real life on their own.
Right.
It's learned helplessness. There's always someone to turn to. And then the first time they face any sort of adversity, they're in their 20s and they just absolutely crumble.
Right.
Like as a kid, you're supposed to be 10 years old and, 2 neighborhoods over, and then your chain pops off your bike, and then you have to figure out, okay, do I try to fix it?
Right.
Do I knock on a stranger's door? Do I walk it all the way back? Or maybe the chain fell off and you fell and got hurt. Like the cost of those mistakes as a kid are relatively small.
Yeah.
Versus, if you're 25 and never had a real job and never faced any adversity, and you get hired and you can't seem to get on work on time because you don't like waking up, and you think your boss is a jerk because he's saying, hey, you're not on time, and then you quit your job. Like the costs of that are extraordinarily high.
Right. Yeah.
So do you think that being a skateboarder, you're more willing to let your kid wrestle with the vicissitudes of life's stresses, life's danger? Let them dance on the edge a little bit closer than other parents would?
Well, I don't know. How do I say this? I mean, I know my wife is. I mean, all women, I think, in general, are more softer with the kids. I try to be a little bit tougher, not in a bad way. I'm not like too strict, but yeah. At the same time, I do want them to be very, a little bit more independent.
Yeah.
And I think that is our duty as a father to give some sort of strictness, because I think it does make
they needed the dichotomy.
Yeah, the direction, I guess you could say, it definitely I don't know. I can't speak. I'm also learning myself because I didn't grow up so much with a father in the household. Like I did. I had a stepfather, but it wasn't the same as having my real father around. So, I don't know how to.
Well, let me clarify. I'm not saying like fathers should be hard asses. That's not like
no. That's what I'm saying. But
you should be firm
for
and
sure.
it should be backed up.
Yeah.
With the emotional support. Like I'm tough on my wife's son, but like he's seen me cry multiple times.
Yeah.
Because like it's like no, I'm not just. It's not because there's a reason. There's a point to all of this.
Right. No, I agree. No, I'm definitely. I try to be tough, but not too tough.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. And I'm hoping that it turns out well. I mean, dude, we're all parents. We all don't know what the hell we're doing. We're just trying. We're trying to learn what we're doing. Trying to figure it all out together. I know my mom. I thought she had it all figured out, but
no.
I don't think she's knew exactly how. There's no playbook to being a parent. I mean, so
despite people thinking they're
I know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think I'm a hard ass as a dad at all, but I definitely push my kids to be
Yeah.
a little bit tougher. If they get hurt, I'm like, get up, boy. It's not.
Well, I
It's
tried
not
to.
like, oh,
Yeah.
come on, let me take.
That's mom's job.
Yeah, for sure.
I tried to explain to my wife's son, I guess you could say my stepson, the difference between being hurt and being injured.
Yeah,
And he didn't understand that, and he might still not. And a lot of people don't understand that. I was like, if you're injured, that means there's structural damage.
yeah,
If you're hurt, your body's sending you signals of pain,
Right.
right? And like working in skilled trades, sometimes you like cut your finger, or hit it with a hammer or
Yeah.
whatever, and you're like, oh, that sucks, and you just keep going.
Keep
to the
going,
job.
yeah.
And later at night, you're like, man, I really got myself.
Yeah,
But
right.
when you're in the moment doing it, you just do it. There isn't an
Yeah.
option. And I think part of that lesson is you're teaching those kids earlier. It's actually in line with very similar to mindfulness training, like is to analyze your own feelings and
Yeah.
assess what's actually happening.
Right.
But in pain, it's more than just a feeling. It's actually like
You're a deep thinker on this
a
one.
signal. Yeah. All this stuff. I'm so focused on like the future and longevity and everything that like I think through the implications of everything to its like 10, 20, 30
Yeah.
year outcome,
Yeah,
But that, that's good and bad.
I hear you on that for sure.
Like my wife's fucking awesome, but she's the other side of the spectrum than that for me.
I
Like,
still haven't met her.
oh, she's great.
Is she come here or what?
No, she's in bed because we get up early and I have to be here at 6 in the morning because the news is coming tomorrow
Oh,
morning.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what are they doing here?
We're gonna be on News 13 on the morning show,
Oh, nice.
and
Who's the reporter?
Chris Lopez,
Ooh, I don't know him.
and it's like every 25 minutes we get 2 minutes of the live show, so
Yeah.
I have to be here for like 2 hours, and they're gonna do random whatever, and that's so. I have to, yeah.
I've been speaking to a lot of the reporters on the unknown name account that I will not talk
yeah.
about on here,
Yeah.
but that's what I was referring to. Interesting.
Yeah, but like I was saying, my wife is like, she's amazing with our kids, but she's very nurturing, very in the moment. It's great. But I'm very like, well, they have to learn a lesson on their own,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking 10 years, 20 years. I'm thinking about the implications of every single action they do, how that's going to formulate them as an adult in the world, and is that adult going to make the world a better place based on what they learn on this micro action right now in
Right.
the moment.
Right.
And like that's a horrible place for some people's mind to be, but for me, that's how I operate. For her, she's like, it's about here and now and how you feel,
I hear you.
and that's why we're perfectly opposite in that regard, which is perfect.
Yeah.
If we were both one way or the other way, it'd be a horrible scenario. Both
Right.
parents aren't caring about the long-term outcome would be horrendous.
That would
right?
not be good. No.
Yeah.
Which we have a lot of that in Rochester, unfortunately.
Dude, parents, it's rough. Like that's another avenue of this podcast I want to try to like harp on, and it's one of the reasons I want to have you on because you're a parent. I find that so many parents act like they're passive observers in their own lives, but people also act like they're passive observers in their own lives, like
Yeah.
like with their own decision making. Like they like do very little to maintain their physical or mental health, and then they're like surprised that they like are out of shape and feel like crap all the time. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, you do literally nothing.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing with their kids. They're like, oh, yeah, he just sits in his room on his phone all day, as if like that
Yeah.
parent doesn't have any control in that
Right,
scenario.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we grew up in a different generation, for sure, dude. I mean, we were outside 24/7. Imagine not having cell phones again.
I mean, I think parents
be
should
wild.
be somewhat hands off to let the kids go explore and learn on their own,
Yeah.
but not in the landscape with the phones.
Yeah.
And it's not video games. I think it's online immersive video games. Although I think there's certainly an argument that live streaming video games has a level of socialization, and especially if they're team based, there's
Yeah,
something
it's
there.
socialization, but it's not face to face, and
Yeah.
that's something that I think that is like COVID screwed a lot up with
Oh, yeah.
with kids
100%.
because I don't think the socializing skills have definitely decreased in every kid. It's just that's at least what it seems like to me. I mean, I would go up to people at a playground and be like, "Hey, you want to play?" When I was younger, but like I feel like my kids are not likely to do that. It's like I have to go up with them and start the conversation, if you know what I mean, or just out in general, like anywhere. My kids, and I think I see it in a lot of other people. They don't know how to socialize. A lot of other kids, they don't know how to socialize. They don't know how to talk, and they don't know how to make new
Well,
friends.
and that speaks to what I said before, where there's
Yeah.
always an adult in the room. They
Right,
never
they
had
have
to.
Yeah, yeah.
If there wasn't an adult in the room all the time, they would have to, and then they would have got over that hurdle on
Yeah.
their own. It wouldn't have been a big deal.
No, correct. Yeah, and that's what we didn't have, right? We were off doing whatever.
Well,
I-
the term I've coined for what I offer at the skate park,
Yeah,
because I've wrestled with it a long time, because I know parents come in and they're expecting more, like one-on-one, more supervision. What a kid, he just goes.
yeah,
I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, yeah, yeah, you just go ride. Like that's what all kids want. And parents, like, they seem uncomfortable. But I've transitioned to my whole mindset on this to be like, no, like that's what they need.
right.
And the term I've coined that I'm using is minimally invasive supervision.
Okay,
That I just let them do their thing.
yeah,
And I'm not going to get involved unless something like really bad happens. And if someone does get hurt or a fight breaks out, I kind of like, I ease my way in and see if they can handle it on their own.
yeah.
And I might be the only person in these goddamn kids' lives that will do that.
Really,
Like even in my summer camp.
they're fighting here or what?
No, kids don't ever fight, but they bicker
Yeah.
and whatnot. And like there's been 1 or 2 fights or whatever. Or like
Dude, there's fighting.
that's more of a summer camp thing when you get like a group of kids, 10, 12 kids together all day, every day for a week, and these kids messing with this kid and like
Yeah,
kind of let it play out, and
Yeah.
then we assess the situation, figure out what happened.
dude.
But the parents want you to like. I had a situation in my one camp where this kid's like, oh my god, this kid just punched me 100 times, and I'm like, well, I already know you're bullshitting me because
Yeah.
he didn't punch you 100 times, like. And then it's like trying to figure out what happened, asking every kid, and it's like, oh, we were throwing our shoes around, and then it turned out we were just throwing his shoe around, and I'm like, well, was he okay with everyone throwing that one kid's
Yeah.
shoe around? And they're like, well, he didn't say he didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, so you guys
How
teased
young are
him.
you talking about here, though?
7 to 10.
Really, up to 10? Shit.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I said I try to ask this kid, ask that kid, try to piece together the story from all the details that you know his side,
check
his
the
side, his
cameras.
side, his side, and then and then when one parent was like, well, he's kicked out of camp, right? I was like,
What?
no, like I don't know what happened. Well, he told me
Oh
my son told me
God.
he hit him, and I was like, yeah, I understand that he hit him, but I don't think he just walked up and hit him. Like there was a string of events.
Sorry that you have to deal with that. That's
No, it's not sorry, because like I'm teaching these parents something in the process to be like, no, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna like in any scenario, it's hard to know what's true, but based on conflicting details, you can always falsify certain things.
Yeah.
And then you can construct a narrative based on all the details you get. And be like, okay, so you guys teased him until a breaking point, and then he started swinging at you.
Yeah.
He didn't punch you in the face. He was just like kind of swinging at your body or whatever. Clearly, you're not even hurt.
Right.
I was like, so like you shouldn't have messed with him. You
Yeah.
know.
That sounds like not
But
fun. I wouldn't want to deal with that.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I actually, honestly, because like I said, my focus on thinking about the implications of these actions 30 years down the road, I think it's huge for me to be in these kids' lives.
Yeah.
Even in that one scenario, to be like, no, you're not gonna get away
Yeah.
with just lying to me about what happened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out what happened, and then we're all gonna be held accountable for our actions, and then we're all gonna sit here and talk about it. All going to come to an understanding that we all agree on
Yeah.
what happened, not
Yeah.
your version and his version. Like, we're going to say, no, we all agree this is what happened. You were wrong, they were wrong, and we're all good now,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay, we're better people for it.
You know what you're talking about though? I think it's kind of cool though because I looked up to Jason from Extremes,
Okay,
and I also looked up to the owner of Scuff Skates, who was Chad
okay.
back in the day. And you're the Jason and you're the Chad now of
Yeah.
these kids for this skate park here. And I just remember they were a great influence back then when I was younger and kind of teaching me, you know, they were always around, like being like a father figure, I guess you could say, when I'm hanging out there, because my parents weren't around at the skate park. They just dropped me off and they were
Yeah.
gone. Similar to here. So to what you were saying though, you're technically like their
Oh, I
skate
know.
park dad.
Oh, I know.
And
I love it, too.
You're gonna be in their thoughts for a long time.
And
man.
for the longest for a long while in my life, I thought I didn't want kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is my version of that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to play a role in all these kids' lives, and they're gonna remember me, or they won't remember me, but like there's something there. There's reverberations from my actions that will play out in the world. It's my version of parenting.
Right.
And obviously now I actually have a kid.
Yeah.
But
you're not overwhelmed with the
No.
craziness from your kid at home.
No,
and
my
then
daughter's
coming here with more kids.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Well, you must have an easy one, an easy
It's
kid.
a trap,
then.
dude. It's a trap.
Wait till she hits 16, and then it's gonna
Oh,
go
yeah.
crazy.
It's like I'd have 5 kids if they were all this easy. I just know the next one's not going to be this easy.
Yeah.
She's incredible. She always sleeps. She's super chill. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it could possibly be better or easier than she is.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you got a good kid.
Yeah. But obviously with a girl, the teenage years are going to be a different story.
Way different. Yeah. Yeah, I got neighbors that got girls, and even when at 10 years old, they're getting real talk back.
Sassy, yeah.
Real sassy. And I don't have that with my boys. I mean, at least you can I can give them a firm speaking.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that with the girls. I feel
Women are vicious, like it's just like men, like dudes, boys, whatever, they can get at it. They could wrestle, they could punch each other, and 20 minutes later, we're good, dude. Girls, women, it's not. It's a totally different dynamic,
Yeah.
and I don't entirely understand it because I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
At least not right now.
Not thinking of transitioning.
Not at the moment.
No. Well, man, what are we at? 2 hours? Now?
Hour and 48.
Holy moly! Are we live still?
Yeah, we are live. All right, let's do a couple of rapid fire questions, and then we'll call it because this is felt great, super organic. This is how they should be. We could always have you on again
Let's do it.
and just talk about whatever. Let's see, where am I? I had this written down in notes.
Beers don't drink themselves. This is funny.
Oh, whatever. I'll spit it off the top of the head. What's the first? Do you remember the first real skateboard you had?
Yeah, it was a Menace.
A Menace.
Menace. Yeah, and I got it from HORC Hobbies. Well, my uncle bought it from HORC Hobbies for me. And then I just went there.
What'd it look
HORC
like?
Hobbies used to be down close to Hardpacked on Monroe. I don't know if you remember that.
Menace was the brand.
Menace was the brand, yeah, and I don't remember. All I remember is it was a Menace. That's all I remember, and I remember that because they used to also make clothes as well.
Okay.
And I was always trying to find the clothes, and I couldn't
Okay.
find it. Second board that I do remember was my Ronnie Krieger. It was a
Ronnie
blind
Krieger,
board,
okay.
and it was the go-kart graphic. But the go-kart graphic that you can find on the internet today is with the board being long. Like if you're looking at it
Tall.
straight up, yeah. The go-kart was sitting like that. Mine was sideways, and I can't find that freaking board. I want that board so bad, dude. So
Were
if
those
anybody knows,
was
where
it
they are.
just decks or are they completes?
No, that was just a board I bought.
Okay.
I got that one from Hardpack, I think, when they opened up. But that Menace, dude, I had for 3 years.
What kind of trucks were you riding and wheels?
Dude,
do you
I
remember?
don't know about that. Grind Kings, though, definitely once I actually started learning what all the parts were.
What was your first pair of legit rollerblades?
Um,
Solomon's.
Yeah, they were
Really?
actually. Yeah. How'd you know that? They
don't
were. Yeah, they really were. They were Solomon's. No, wait a minute. No, take that back. I had Solomon's after I had. Wait, was it the Solomon's? No, because I had the Rossi's. Rossi's.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, it was Solomon's. It was Solomon's first, and
Wow.
then it was Rossi's, and then it was K2's. The Backyard Bobs were
Okay.
the ones that I used to ride. I still have those. That's what I got in the car.
Okay. Cool. That's great. I already asked you another question about if you can go back. and
Oh, I
ride
had a
one
pair of
skate.
Bauers too. Bauer used to make rollerblades, aggressive inline,
Really?
like the actual ice skates. They used
Like
to
the
make.
Bauer brand from Harbor
Bauer.
Freight?
I don't know about that. That's different. Bauer tools. I do have one of their jackhammers
That's
though.
funny. Is there a skate park, any skate park in the history of skate parks that you wish you could have rode? Like, whatever, something in California or Venice Beach or Burnside, Kona.
Today's Woodward would be the
Today's
one.
Woodward. Yeah, that's a good
because
one. It's
Woodward is
crazy.
ridiculous. Which I don't know if you've heard this, but I heard recently on the comments section that they're not doing good.
No, they're not.
East Coast Woodward's
No.
not doing good.
Yeah, they got rid of all the gymnastics and stuff. They
Wow.
changed ownerships a couple of years ago.
Oh,
People I know that work there said it's not quite the same as it always has been.
that's I don't want to see that go. I really
No.
don't. That place is so cool.
That's crazy.
But what else?
What's the best thing you ever landed skating? Was it that kickflip and that double set you talked about earlier, or was there ever like
the most iconic thing to me in my entire time of skating was just, and it's so stupid probably to most people, but I tray flipped LES pyramid.
okay,
I love
like the original one, OG, like before they rebuilt the park?
no, like the one that stands today in LES.
Oh, okay.
Like it's the one on the LES, the bridge under the
Because
bridge.
back in the day, it was
I don't
just
know
like
about that
random features. It like and now it's a real like park.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so I used to ride there.
I
and
didn't know
It
about
was like
that.
just random, like it was a park, but it was like not a concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a super mellow, but I would say sort of. It's probably big as this table. No, more bigger than this, but it's a pretty big top to it.
Yeah.
I was always decent at tray flips, but I could never do them like over shit, like ramps.
it's
I
the
could never
best.
do them. I would do it on flat ground, no problem. But launching like ramps and stuff was a different story. And I was just feeling myself that day, man. And I did it, and I got it on film too. And I'm very proud of that. I still have that board. I have it hanging in my basement, and yeah, I don't know. That was just an iconic moment for me. I know it's so stupid because it's like everybody gets to this certain progression, like level, and then some people, just stay there, and that's where they're at, and they don't actually learn anything more. And that right there was my stopping point, I guess you could say. I love that, but no.
All right. Well, you want to tell people where they can find you and where your accounts and whatnot?
Yeah.
Any
Check me
shout-outs?
out on Instagram. I mean, you could try TikTok, but who knows if it'll be around for another week or so. But it's PlumbingSk8tr. It's PlumbingSk8, the number 8R. And then same thing for Instagram, same handle. If you want to find me on Facebook, it's Nick Plumbing. And I'm also on the app Clapper, which a lot of people don't know about. Same handle, PlumbingSk8tr. Check me out on there.
Cool.
And if you got any questions about plumbing, let me know. I'll guide you in the right direction.
I'd stay in chat longer, but I have to pee so bad it really hurts right now.
All right,
So thanks everyone for watching. You hit us up on Patreon if you really want. Every $5 a month on our basic Patreon subscription really helps keep the skate park open, and a review on Google or whatever, iTunes or whatever helps. It's midnight, so I'm tired. So I was up all night with a baby's got the flu. She had 102.8 fever.
no.
So like,
Oh my gosh.
it's been a rough one. So appreciate
man.
you coming out. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll have you on again sometime. And
Sure.
I'll see you guys at the skate park.
All right. For sure. Cool. See ya.